Poison Archaludon is an absolute monster on the PTCG Live ladder. By utilizing Brute Bonnet and Poison synergies, Archaludon's damage output can be cranked to score KOs against Pokemon that would otherwise be incredibly problematic for the deck. According to Limitless, this deck has a higher win rate than every single deck with a higher meta share. But if you dive into tournaments, you'll notice this deck conspicuously absent from the top tables. So how can it have the highest win rate if it isn't winning? The answer is that top decks like Tera Box and Dragapult have incredibly high skill ceilings. When piloted by the best players in top form, these decks have paths to victory that the average player, or a distracted one, won't be able to find. These decks are perfect for proving yourself in a tournament setting, but underperform at scale due to the knowledge and focus required. In contrast, Archaludon is relatively simple, relatively strong, and can catapult itself to victory while shielding its owner from mistakes. In other words, Archaludon has a high skill floor, a baseline of solid results even for players that haven't mastered the list. And this is what makes Archaludon perfect for climbing the ladder. Grinding for hours causes fatigue, and casual gaming with videos in the background causes distraction. Both lead to making mistakes. Archaludon offers the highest payout when factoring in both power and ease of use. We've given a brief overview, so let's dive into the card-by-card analysis. The star of our show is, of course, Archaludon EX, who is able to accelerate metal energy from the discard pile with its Ensemble Alloy ability. And it is essentially impossible to one-hit KO, even when poisoned by our Brute Bonnet. Being poisoned does more than just inflict 10 damage at the end of the turn. With Binding Mochi, we are able to turn a Metal Defender into a 270 damage attack, allowing us to take out the likes of cards like Goldengo EX, who would otherwise be a massive problem for our deck. But if we are going first, we aren't able to attack, and that is where Pecharunt comes in. Pecharunt's Toxic Subjugation alongside Perilous Jungle allows us to KO most evolving basics on the first turn of the game, going first. This is incredible when we normally can't even attack. However, this is going to require a lot of pieces, and that is where our two engines combine. Squawkabilly EX, Carmine, Ultra Ball, Earthen Vessel, and Secret Box all serve to get a bunch of cards into our discard pile, while searching out all of the pieces we are going to need to both set up Pecharunt for a big early game damage boost, while also putting our metal energy into the discard pile, so that from turn 2 on, Archaludon EX is able to come in and start swinging for massive numbers. We also have Latias EX to help us get that Pecharunt into the active and prevent Boss's orders from making that Brute Bonnet a liability on the bench. Blood Moon Ursaluna EX offers just a tiny bit of additional damage. In combination with Binding Mochi and Perilous Jungle, it will be able to hit over 300 damage. Monkey Dory is also able to let us take advantage of the poison damage we are inflicting to ourselves. With Monkey Dory, we are finally able to get a coveted one-shot on a Pokemon like Dragapult EX. There is an argument to running a Luminous Energy instead of the basic Darkness in order to let Monkey Dory use the Mind Bend when needed. However, the Darkness Energy being searchable by Earthen Vessel and recoverable with Night Stretcher seems like a bigger deal. Pheasantipity EX provides additional draw power whenever one of our Pokemon does go down. This is especially likely to happen during the first turns of the game, where we're either poisoning with Pecharunt or attacking with Badoo, our option for when we do go second and aren't able to secure a donk with Pecharunt. Turning off the opponent's items gives us all of the time we need to set up Archaludon. Carmine has the unique property of being able to be played on the very first turn of the game. You'll notice this is a very heavy going first list. There are builds of Poison Archaludon that focus on Arven and Precious Trolley to get your combo going, but with so many decks opting to go second, emphasizing on a going first build is going to let you lessen the impact of those start of match dice rolls. Apart from this, Boss's Orders, Professor's Research, and Iono are all standard supporters, while Professor Turo Scenario allows us to heal up our Archaludon and make them spend even more time struggling to get those KOs against our incredibly bulky Pokemon. Pokegear 3.0 is mostly for those early turns of the game, where getting a Carmine or Professor's Research to set up is of crucial importance. When we are discarding so many cards at the start of the game with Squawkabilly and Carmine, we are liable to discard some of these crucial supporters, which is why Palpad lets us get them back into the deck. We're also running plenty of all of our tool cards and the Perilous Jungle to help make sure we can find everything we need when we need it. With the deck explained, it's time to see it in action. Alright, so we are opening up with a Squawkabilly EX. Our opponent has to mulligan, and then they reveal they are on a Wooloo, so we are going to go for that turn 1 KO. We discard some energy to get out the Brute Bonnet, as we already have the Ancient Booster Capsule to attach to it. Attach our Metal Energy onto the Squawkabilly before we use Squawk and C, so that we are going to be able to retreat it into the Petrant. Earthen Vessel is going to be able to get some more cards into the discard pile with this Carmine, which we draw off of the Pokegear. And Nespel sets up the Duraludon for later, but we just go for the poison, retreat the Squawkabilly, attach a Binding Emoji to the Duraludon, and take our prize card with Petron in the active. They are stuck on a Snorlax and are going to need to find a way to retreat it if they want to keep staying in this game. They go ahead and counter catcher the Duraludon, research to set up a Zacian, and then Prime Catcher to switch in the Zacian using 2 Gust effects in 1 turn. They are going to be able to KO the Petron and put some chip damage onto the Duraludon. We decide to promote the Squawkabilly as we do have the Latias in hand in case we need to retreat. Palpad is going to put Carmine back into the deck as we are trying to find a draw supporter off of this Fezandipity. The Archaludon is not bad. We are going to be able to get 2 energy but not be able to fully set it up. We put in the Latias and then choose not to retreat. This is probably a bit of a misplay. Could have chosen to retreat it into something like the Fez or the Latias instead, but we see the Arven setting them up with a Nest Ball and another copy of the Choice Band. But they do go for a Duraludon, confirming they are also on this deck. We see them Ultra Ball into the Archaludon, but without any form of disruption in our hand, there's not really anything we're going to be able to do about it. It's our turn, we draw a Nest Ball, and we can't even use the Fezandipity here, so we do decide to finally retreat into the Latias and let some extra poison damage accrue onto the Zacian. We see Fezandipity EX coming down onto their board as well, and here they go to power up the benched Archaludon. They don't want to power up the Zacian as there is no real reason to do so when we would be KOing it in 1 hit. We do go ahead and risk getting the Metal Energy off of the Fezandipity here by promoting our Archaludon. And we do have a Professor's Research, so it's not too bad. We do manage to find the Night Stretcher, and that is going to be the energy we need, but instead of attacking, we decide to use the Adrenabrain, as it is going to help our Archaludon survive. Going for a poison play onto our own Archaludon and dealing a bunch of damage would not be very good if they managed to do anything to us instead, so the Adrenabrain is also going to be able to help us set up to heal this Squawkabilly, which is the most important thing we can do. Since we weren't able to KO the Archaludon last turn, we got a little bit of chip damage on them with the Munkidori, and now it is going to be enough. We play down another Archaludon, Carmine to draw some new cards, attach to the Archaludon, and take our KO. And now that we were able to use the Munkidori's Adrenabrain, our Squawkabilly EX is not going to be fainted from a Insta-Strike from the Zacian EX. This is very important, otherwise they would take a 4-prize turn and instantly end the game. Fortunately for us, though, we are going to have 10 HP left on the Squawkabilly and be able to do the same thing again. With the Adrenabrain, we are going to be consistently keeping them 1 turn away from lethal. We go ahead and attach an energy, go for the poison, bring in the Perilous Jungle, move this energy off of the Zacian, and most importantly, we are placing this onto the Zacian and not anywhere on the bench. Otherwise, their own Munkidori from the bench would be able to transfer that damage back to our Squawkabilly and take a KO. So, in order to get the win here, they are going to need to find a counter catcher, a Zacian, an energy or choice band, and another way to switch out this Duraludon. It is asking a lot, but they did manage to find a Professor's Research. They are finding the Zacian, they attach an energy, Pokegear is not going to do anything, and without a way to switch out, we are able to take it on the final turn.